In the corridors of Brussels, a new vision has taken shape, bold, calculated, and impossible to ignore. What the world is truly witnessing right now is not diplomacy alone. It is the quiet reshaping of global power. Europe has chosen its partner for the decades ahead, and that partner is India. Across European boardrooms, a single question now echoes: if not India, then who? In mid-September 2025, Europe unveiled a bold, comprehensive agenda for India, anchored on five strategic pillars: trade and investment, technology and innovation, security and defense, connectivity, and climate action. At its core lies one mission given highest priority: a free trade agreement to be concluded by December 2025. With a population surpassing 1.4 billion, a growth rate nearing 7%, and a digital economy among the fastest on Earth, India offers what few can: youth, technology, and trust. No other nation combines scale, stability, and spirit the way India does. Europe's capital is now chasing Indian imagination. What once would have taken decades, Europe now insists must be done within months. And this timing, it is no coincidence. Earlier, in late August and September 2025, the United States raised tariffs on Indian goods, doubling certain duties to 50%, citing India's energy purchases from Russia. Donald Trump's America also urged Europe to punish India, to impose tariffs for its Russian oil trade. But Europe chose differently. Instead of confrontation, it chose collaboration. Instead of threats, it chose trust. Europe is not encircling India. Europe is aligning with it. For the first time in modern history, Europe looked east and saw a nation too vast, too vital, and too visionary to be cornered. India and Europe share a history written in commerce. Today, that story takes on renewed urgency. In 2023, EU-India goods trade reached 124 billion euros. In 2024, that number was about 110.3 billion euros. Meanwhile, services trade in 2023 stood at 59.7 billion euros, per European Commission figures. Over roughly a decade, trade has nearly doubled, rising from a modest baseline to become core to both economies. Yet beyond these numbers lies something greater: a rebirth of shared ambition. Europe is not merely seeking exports, it seeks partnerships in defense, cybersecurity, maritime strategy, and climate innovation. Imagine confidential intelligence flowing seamlessly between New Delhi and Brussels. Picture European and Indian naval officers patrolling side by side across the Indian Ocean. Visualize a digital corridor of trust linking two big democracies. 2,000 years ago, merchants sailed from the ports of Kerala, carrying ivory, spices, and silk to Roman shores. The bond between India and Europe was born not of conquest, but of commerce and curiosity. Today, that same spirit has returned. The European presence in India is not only symbolic, it is material. Over 6,000 European companies now operate across the country. They employ more than 3 million people, direct jobs, according to the Federation of European Business in India, 2025. To speak of billions of euros in turnover is tempting. Some public claims put that figure at 186 billion euros, approximating 5% of India's GDP. This is not casual market entry. It is commitment at national scale. Negotiations for the India-EU Free Trade Agreement have been rigorous and relentless. Over 14 rounds of talks, diplomats have debated everything, from automobiles to agriculture, from digital data to carbon duties. Europe wants market access. India demands fairness. And in that tug of war lies the hallmark of true power: negotiation between equals. 11 of 23 chapters have already been finalized. The path is long, but the direction is clear. For the first time, both sides speak not of aid or alignment, but of balance. The EU presses for dramatically lower duties on cars, greater access for wine and dairy, and sweeping rules of origin. India stands firm for duty-free treatment of labor-intensive sectors, textiles, electronics, auto components, and for protections in climate-sensitive goods. Even more complex, the EU's Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, CBAM. Its current scope covers cement, iron and steel, aluminium, fertilizers, electricity, and hydrogen. Indian exporters fear punitive costs, while Brussels argues equitability and climate accountability. The stakes are immense, and time is short, yet progress endures. Nothing is trivial. Every clause matters. This is more than trade. This is strategy. The EU has launched negotiations for a security of information agreement to share classified intelligence in future. On cybersecurity, India and Europe held their 8th India-EU Cyber Dialogue on 20th March 2025. Maritime Strategy 2 features heavily. Europe's agenda cites enhanced Indian Ocean cooperation. In every domain, trade, security, climate, India as an equal, as a partner. Its markets matter. Its democracy matters. Its strategic voice matters. For Europe, India represents the largest open market on Earth, a youthful middle class, and unmatched innovation. For India, Europe brings capital, technology, and a promise of sustainability. In a fractured world, this partnership offers unity. Europe's bet on India is already paying dividends. Under the Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement with the European Free Trade Association, Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein, India has already secured $100 billion in investments over the next 15 years. Europe isn't just investing in a market, it is investing in a miracle. In a billion dreams converging under a single tricolor, in a civilization that survived empires, endured colonization, and rose from it stronger, prouder, and infinitely more determined. Europe invests not out of obligation, but out of respect, a recognition that India is indispensable, not because of its size alone, but its spirit, its systems, and its choice to lead. In a world defined by coercion and tariffs, the message is clear. India doesn't bend. India builds. The world must now choose collaboration or confrontation. Because in the unfolding map of 21st century power, India is not the margin. India is the center, and Europe is placing its cast on the right side of history. Europe sees it. The world feels it. In boardrooms and parliaments, in ports and data centers, India's presence is undeniable. From trade to technology, from sea lanes to cyberspace, the message echoes across continents. India is not just part of the future. India is shaping it. In an era of surveillance states and information wars, India's insistence on openness, data sovereignty, and multipolar dialogue makes it not merely a market, but a model. The European Union recognizes this truth. Its shift toward India is not a temporary correction. It is a generational recalibration. Brussels now sees in New Delhi not a developing partner, but a decisive power, one that can balance the Indo-Pacific, stabilize global supply chains, and set the moral tone for digital governance. India, steady and unbowed, continues its climb, powered by its engineers, its entrepreneurs, and its belief that destiny is not given, it is built. And as Europe invests, the world begins to understand that in an era of uncertainty, the surest bet is India.